Lidia Thorpe is a proud Djab Gunai Gunditjmara woman and a formidable force in Australian politics. She made history as the first Aboriginal woman elected to the Victorian Parliament for the Greens and later became the first Aboriginal Senator for Victoria. A lifelong activist, Lidia has been at the forefront of the fight for First Nations justice, land rights and government accountability. She has taken a strong stance on issues like Indigenous sovereignty, treaty making and systemic racism, never shying away from controversy or speaking truth to power. From Parliament to the streets, her advocacy has sparked national conversations about the treatment of First Nations people and the urgent need for change. In this exclusive sit-down, Lidia opens up about her journey, the battles she's fought, and what's next in her mission for justice. Lidia Thorpe, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
International Women's Day is around the corner, and this year's theme is Accelerate Change. What change do you think is needed to improve the lives of Indigenous women?
Well, I think the first thing that comes to my mind is that International Women's Day is never about us. International Women's Day, I suppose, gaslights black women. We're not given centre stage. It's all about the white woman, really, and what it means to be a successful white woman in the colony. When I've attended International Women's Day events, I've been able to speak, I've made it very clear to the audience that white women need to move over and allow black and brown women the opportunity to have their say. International Women's Day means nothing when the incarceration rates of Aboriginal women and Aboriginal children are going through the roof. Our children are being taken at a very fast rate in comparison to the stolen generation. We have 24,000 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children in out-of-home care today in this country. And we can celebrate International Women's Day, but what does it mean when the injustices continue to be perpetrated against our women and our girls and our children in this country? So I think those things need to change, and the white women in this country need to stand with us, by our side, and demand that change. That's where we'll be able to have the power as a collective of women to do the right thing, and that is look after each other and look after the children. If we can't do that, then what's there to celebrate?
Yeah, Indigenous women have some of the highest rates of discrimination, incarceration and violence. Research shows that Aboriginal women are 34 times more likely to be hospitalised due to family violence. What does this say about systemic issues?
They're not broken, they're designed this way. When they talk about, there's so many black women in this country that have simply gone missing. Well, they've been murdered. They're not just missing, they've been taken away to destroy the very fabric of their family and their community and their connection. This is an ongoing issue of violence against our women and the killings that continue to happen to our women, particularly by the state, by those settings that are racist. So going to the hospital is not an easy task for us. Our people go to the hospital to die. They don't go to the hospital to get better. They go to die because the hospital is not safe. You go to school as a black kid those systems are not safe for us. The racism that we see at schools even today, I mean, it's been like that since I was a kid. Those structures don't fit with how we operate as black people. And the carceral system, you know, of locking our women up, of having our women chained to a bed to give birth. That happens in this country today. That's torture. And when we raise this in the parliament and with the ministers and with the government, they don't care. They simply don't care. They are complicit in the genocide of my people, the continued genocide of our people. So we need to, you know, fight back and break down these structures that are causing so much harm to our women and our children. And what is good for us is good for everybody, right? They don't even remove hanging points in the prisons, and they know about this. The government at every level knows around this country that they have hanging points in these prison cells, and they will not remove them, even though that was also a recommendation in the Royal Commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody. So the answers are there to breaking down the system. It's just we need a government with a bit of backbone that will make it a reality and bring peace to people.
Yeah. We've seen various high-profile women, such as Antoinette Lattouf, who's obviously taken on the ABC, Naidel Nguyen, who's a South Sudanese lawyer. She's taken on Victoria University. They've both alleged discrimination amongst these institutions. I know you can't comment on individual cases, but what does this say about institutionalized racism and our systems?
Systemic racism. It's what it is. And remember, you know, when they set up this colony, it was set up by old white men that had no care for women or black people in this country. And the structures that they set up were meant to be structurally racist. They weren't designed for people like us. They were designed to fit the white colonial narrative. And that's the system we need to break down and redo. Because it's not about us fitting into this colonial system. It's about breaking that colonial system so that we don't have to deal with those structures that continue to shut us down and deny us our rights and tell a different story to the real one.
Yeah, the federal election is around the corner, or is looming. It's expected to be announced soon. A lot of people believe that the major parties have failed Indigenous people. What political shift needs to take place, in your opinion, to get real meaningful change?
Well, the two-party system is absolutely flawed. They side with one another when they want to pass really bad legislation. So, you know, if there's like migration, for example, immigration, Palestine, you know, they side together to ensure that they continue to discriminate and that they continue to be complicit in genocide. So once you sign up to one of those parties, you are bound by the white master that is at the helm of both of those parties, and you must toe the line and bow to your master. Well, voters need to be mindful of that's what you're voting for. You're voting for their policy, and if their policy is to deny people rights, which both of their policies do, then they're not the people to be putting into power. We need a progressive crossbench, and I've been in balance of power many times where I've been able to negotiate with the government on improving legislation or getting something for my people. But if we had a bigger crossbench, we would have greater power. And I encourage more black and brown women particularly to sign up, to join up, because together we would support each other and be able to break down the colony and the instruments that deny our rights. We can do that. It is possible, but we need more young people as well. Young people are missing in that space. Young people are our future, and young people aren't in that parliament making decisions for their future. They got these two old crusty white fellas making decisions for their future that are putting them in danger, in great danger. Climate change, genocide. Like, we need people to be awoken to how Parliament works and how the dirty games that get played. Because I think for far too long these two major parties have relied on the ignorance of the voters. And voters are getting more and more interested in what's going on because it's affecting their lives every day. And if I have to make a scene to say, hey, this is what's going on in this place, people relate to that.
Yeah.
Because it's real. We need more real people in there, not these lawyers and big shots that come in with, who've been born with a silver spoon in their mouth, who don't know what it's like to struggle. They don't know what it's like to be poor. They certainly don't know what it's like to be black. So we need to change the nation.
Yeah.
And together we can do that.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you mentioned young people, because I read the other day that Gen Z and millennials for the first time will actually outnumber boomers in terms of voting. So
that's right.
Yeah.
And it's, and our philosophy as Aboriginal people is our children are our future.
Right.
We have to invest in our children. We have to keep them safe, healthy, connected to country and water, and understanding why that is important for future generations. And we need them at the table, not tokenistic way. We can have young people in power making good decisions for their future. Exactly. And this is the time to do that. Get away from the big parties, vote independents, good independents, progressive ones. Be careful that you don't get some right-wing nutter like we've got in there already. We need progressive independents, and the smaller parties, of course, as well.
Women in marginalised groups across sectors are often told to stay in your lane. Is that something that you've ever experienced, and how do you push back?
I've been told that all my life. I think, that's why I'm in the job that I'm in, because I never listened to that. My lane is the lane that I make. It's self-determined by me. And when we are continually denied justice and told to stick in our own lane, that's racist. That's trying to shut us down. It's keeping us in our place. Well, we gotta not accept that as the norm. And if somebody's saying that to you, then they need to be told to stay in their own lane and look at their own privilege, whatever that might be. But it would certainly be more privilege than any black or brown woman in this country, or anywhere else for that matter. So being told to stay in my lane, I think we create our own, and we go all the way with it.
Yeah. You're often hailed for your unapologetic voice. A lot of people love that you're vocal, but on the flip side, it comes at a price. You've been demonised in the press, and you've had threats made against your life. How do you stay sane?
I have a responsibility to my people and to my ancestors to call out the colony, to call out the illegal occupation of this colony, of the Parliament, and I take that responsibility very seriously. When I have elders from across the country cuddling me, ringing me up, getting their kids to call me up and say, tell Lidia we love her and thank you very much, and that just fills my cup, and the love from my people is something that I can't explain. I carry it in my heart always. I go to my country on Garryword, which is what they call the Grampians these days, and I connect with my land, my old people, my water, my culture, and that strengthens me. And other black and brown sisters that, they pull you up when you're feeling a bit down. And of course I have those days of not wanting to leave the house because of the media or the full-on assault on me as a person. But the next day I know I'll get back up because I have a job to do, and I won't stop until they carry me out in a box, basically. It's just, so many of my people have died fighting for this country, and they didn't die for nothing. They didn't die for me to sit on a fence and say nothing. So I'm doing my bit to get justice for my people and my ancestors.
Yeah, and we love you for that. Yeah, well said. Thank you so much for your time again.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.